Let's go! Not over.
Hey, everybody. It's Wednesday night. Time for another episode of Indie Comics Relay. I'm your host, Keith Gleason, creator of the Mighty Mascots. With me, as always, the creator of Surrounded by Death, Johnny C. What's up, partner? How's it going?
What's up, man? It's Wednesday. You know what that means? We're back at it again.
Oh God, dude! It hasn't ended, man. It hasn't ended.
It hasn't ended, and it never will. We're just gonna keep the wheels moving and just keep promoting indie comics, and that's the best part. We're doing some good work here. That's the way I see it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I wanted to ask you, since I haven't talked to you all week, did you make it out to like the 4 or 5 different cons that were happening this weekend?
None of it. There was so much going on, and I did absolutely none of it.
Well, I mean, we got our fill coming up, right? In the last weeks. So
right, yeah. Actually, so big news on my end is that now I don't know if I mentioned it last time. Artist Alley. I'm now in for New York Comic Con Artist Alley.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Nice.
I know, right?
That's there.
Well, so I've exhibited at New York Comic Con when I put out my first issue of Sartana through CCP Comics. So I was very lucky to exhibit in small press, kind of close to where you are.
Okay.
On the floor in their booth. So I got like a taste for it, but I've never exhibited there independently on my own. And now this is the first time I'm doing that.
Oh, congrats, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's exciting.
That show vending. Like, I know we're in small press again.
Right.
And Amy's got some doozies coming out for
can't wait.
Yeah, she's I mean, you know how she does like the pony stuff. Yeah, for you guys out there, my wife who's in the chat is Amy's Birdhouse, recustomizes My Little Pony figures, and so she's working on a MODOK one and
cool.
A Mandalorian one. And like,
nice little baby Yoda.
Yeah, I told her to make a little baby Yoda, and I told her to make the little baby carriage thing he's in, and like put it on the side of the bigger pony. I don't know if that'll work or not, but she may just do it and then have the baby Yoda. I don't know.
I would say side saddle, right? Like there's like a little side saddle hanging off. He's peeking out.
Yeah, if she could make that happen, I think it would be awesome. But yeah, we'll see.
Absolutely.
I always trust her. She gets it all done. And she's also going to have some like Kodama trees. Like I tell you, Johnny, I couldn't do New York without her stuff because her stuff like really saves our ass as far as like, not taking a bath with all the expenses, like my comics do decent there. They sell well, but I can't make all the money back booth with that,
Well, behind every great man is an even greater woman, they say, you know what I mean? So
that's true.
That's just the fact of the matter.
Well, that's cool news. Well, what I wanted to talk about too is I did that show over in Providence this past weekend. It was the first show, a brand new show called Near Mint Expo, and really good show if you're a collector. Like it wasn't so great for an indie artist. It ended up being me, Jeffrey Haas, who we had on the show couple
That's
months
right.
ago. And then Roy Thomas, it was the three of us. And,
hell of a lineup.
Yeah, I know. And this thing was that we were all spread out in different places of the con. Like I was close to Roy, so I kind of helped. That kind of helped a little bit, but
yeah,
definitely not a show for creators though. I would say if you're gonna sell stuff, if you're a card dealer or a comic dealer, and you want to just start selling books, that's the place to go. Had a great crowd. The venue was awesome. It reminded me of it was like it was almost like Joe Souza's like flea market place. It was a building like that in Providence that was like remade into like an art gallery kind of. So,
that's cool.
But if you looked up at the ceiling, you could tell it was
you saw the pipes.
Yeah, you saw the pipes.
It was an old factory.
Old factory redone, and but they were serving. They had a bar open upstairs, and they had like a truck outside. So it was a cool venue, and it was a kind of show I would like to go to as a customer or a convention goer, but not as a creator.
That's one of the things that appealed to me. Is like I really, it was on my radar because I know they had CGC submissions on site, and it's that's a perk. Instead of having to mail out your books, you can just kind of hand them over, and they'll take care of everything for you. And that's a nice little perk there.
Yeah, I was gonna do that. It just Amy had she'd stayed home to work on the stuff for New York, and I probably would have done that if she was with me, because then I would have had somebody watching the booth, Yeah, I had a few books I wouldn't have mind bringing by to just throw in the CGC thing,
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, overall, I would say if you're a creator, it wasn't a great show. But I did get to see Ara. Always
great to see Ara.
He said he's going to be at the one we're at this coming weekend, the New England Comic Toy Show, Comic Show, I think.
I was supposed to do that show. I just haven't gotten correspondence. Have you?
I haven't gotten either. You know what? I'll email that guy tomorrow, and I'll email him to make sure we're both in. I'll say, hey, I don't. Did he send you correspondence last time?
I spoke to him personally, I think at Terrificon. I know Mike. Mike's a great guy. Yeah, I haven't heard back, and I wasn't sure, so I didn't want to
scatter shot. So you got to kind of stay on top of him,
Yeah, busy fellow though.
Busy guy.
Yeah, he's a busy guy though.
I'll message him tomorrow. Make sure that we're all set, because I don't want to take a drive to Seekonk if I'm not.
Yeah, if we don't have to, right?
Yeah, if I don't have a table, But last time I talked to him, which. When he announced the show again, and he said that anybody that had a table when it was canceled is coming back. So I'm assuming we're good.
Right.
But I feel like I don't want to drive with the price of gas right now, and we don't have a table,
Yeah, assumptions shouldn't be never be made when it comes to conventions. Don't assume there's actually a physical table there unless it says it in the paperwork, because believe me, I've been burned by that Aloha scheme before. You know what I mean?
Oh, speaking of that, I saw him there too at Near Mint, and
oh really? I'm glad I didn't go.
You got a mask up for my show, walking around with the mask under his chin. So
that's funny.
Yeah, I know. I think he avoided me. I don't know if he likes me or not. I can't
tell. Well, it's easy to make enemies around here.
We're friends, and he kind of avoids me. I don't know.
Maybe that could be the case. Hey, I'm persona non grata with a lot of people. What can I say?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean,
so
go ahead.
I'm sorry, go on. I was just going to say, so just real quick as we're talking, I got a Kickstarter this week I'm opening up, and it came in a white package that now came in a dossier.
A dossier, okay.
Yeah, like a dossier
solo layout. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, so.
Oh, look at that. 6. What did that say? 6 special.
It's
Special intelligence service. Oh, I wonder what this is.
And then
working for M or something?
It feels like I'm working for M, so it's cool. It's got the old school, the string loop around thing that opens up the pack, right?
I like that. That's fun.
That I'm clearly not good at here. There we go. And this pulls out a whole. This is hefty. This is a whole lot of stuff.
Jeez,
but
dude,
here's really what it is. It's Cloud Wrangler Comics. Okay. We actually had Cloud Wrangler Comics on the show. This is my buddy Jeff Ryder.
Oh, gotcha. And he's running a Kickstarter right now, right?
He has one going on right now, but this was for the one that we actually had him on for, Major Holmes and Captain Watson.
Amy just got those issues too the other day.
So
she backed at that level. But
look at all this stuff. It's like spilling everywhere. That's this was jam packed. Dude, I love backing a Kickstarter that has all sorts of like just tons of stuff. It feels like Christmas when you're opening it. So there's like
prints. Oh wow.
Prints, comics, extras. I dropped some little notebook. Hang on. Whoa.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Sorry, my tripod went over, but
oh, you're good. But
I'm good.
So
I'm good.
That looks like a book here. Campaign, dude.
Oh, it was awesome. It's awesome. So this is the kind of stuff you can get from a campaign with Jeff, and he's got Arcane Cocktail Enthusiast running on Kickstarter right now. So make sure you guys go check that out.
I know we wanted to try to have him back on, but with all the cons happening, right? I don't know if we could do it. If it was like in the summer when I had nothing, probably. I'll talk to you. Maybe we could have him pop in for one of the episodes. Pop in for 5 minutes and just give a pitch and then jump out or something.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably figure something out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That way, because setting these up is time consuming, and I'll tell you about
it's tough.
I'll tell you everybody about that off the air, though. It's like
Before
we bring in tonight's guest, though, we should take a quick second and say hi to everybody in the chat here.
Absolutely.
We got of course, my lovely wife Amy's Birdhouse in the chat. Hey, Amy.
Hey, Amy. Thanks for hanging out again.
Harry's with us tonight. Pass the Ducci on the left-hand side. What's Johnny smoking? Do you care to divulge, Johnny?
Yeah, it's called a strawberry cough. Okay. It's delicious.
My wife says, "Congratulations, Johnny."
Thank you. Congratulations! I got to vend somewhere.
Yeah. Well, that's a big deal, though. I mean, I know you go to San Diego, but New York is right up there. It's no slouch,
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
We got Dragon Multimedia LLC. Hey, Johnny. Hey, Amy's Birdhouse. Hey, Indie Comics Relay. Hey, Dragon Multimedia. Good to see you. Ty Farrell is here.
Hey, Ty.
Good to hear from you. Harry says, "What about a My Little Brony?" Spelling.
That would probably sell. I mean, majority of the clientele is in fact bronies, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, we do see them come over to check it out. That's definitely. Dragon Multimedia says, Indie Comics Relay, was it that comic show that was supposed to be in September but delayed, or a different show? No, I believe this one never got delayed. I think they decided during the pandemic to put this show on.
This was Michael Conlon's show we're talking? The one this weekend?
No, he must be talking about the Near Mint Expo.
Oh, Near Mint. Yeah.
It's some new guy that just hasn't done shows before, that just kind of wanted to put on something that was he wanted, John was telling me, it's like a guy that wanted to have just top-notch collectibles there and things like that. So kind of approaching it from an artistic, I guess, or an art show kind of vibe, like a gallery kind of thing. Scaling
it back a little bit.
It has the vibe of Plastic City, or any of those one-day shows that are they're about comics and more about the collector and things like that. Whereas mine is sort of about indie artists and collectors, you know what I mean? So it's half and half kind of thing. But yeah, no, it was good if you were a collector, you go in there to buy stuff. I picked up this one of the only thing, and this was because the guy was next to me, but I picked up one of the Funko. How cool is this? A Frankenstein Jr. Funko.
Oh, that's awesome.
Soda ones. Isn't that cool? I mean, how often do you see Hanna-Barbera's World of Super Adventure stuff,
Rarely do you see that out there nowadays.
So I had to buy that, and I liked the can and everything. And the guy was literally right next to me. So I was like, that's my one purchase this time,
Yeah.
What did he say here? Yeah, it's a different show. Just checked. Okay, I'm not sure which one he was looking at. Hey, Adam Warlock, thanks for joining us. All right, perfect. That's everybody that's in the chat right now. So yeah, we were talking a little bit backstage, and I don't think you and Tony ever met. Tonight's guest, Tony Sedani.
Not formally, or we may have in passing. It's like these circles are kind of small, and you see the kind of same people over and over again. I think so. I'll have to ask him, because I think maybe we've met locally and possibly even in Philly. I'm not too sure, but I'll have to ask him when we bring him in.
Like I met him, I think for the first time there was library show in Haverhill, Mass, where I saw Jay Moore and a few other people. And Tony, it was funny because Tony was right behind me. The way they do the tables, it's like the two rows, and Tony was right behind me, so we got to know each other at that show. And then I think a year later, I did Mice for the first time, which is another show that's almost as hard to get into as New York or San Diego. I mean, it's that
that one is really exclusive. I've been trying to get into that one for a while.
It is.
I feel like it's a little too high class for my kind of.
It's not though. I was actually really happy with that show, and it was it just has a good fun vibe to it. It's all just like real independent stuff, and everybody that came there was looking for. I did really well at that show. Everyone was looking for, and I think Tony did okay too as well. But at that one, Tony was on the side of me, so it was like kind of funny that we ended up by accident like close to each other both shows. And I haven't seen him since. He was going to do Plastic City last year, but because we canceled it, he wasn't sure where he was going to be in a year, so he may or may not come back next year. But without further ado, let's bring in
let's bring him in. Absolutely.
And hey Tony, welcome Tony Sedani to Indie Comics Relay. How's it going, bud?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
I don't
thanks
know
for taking the time.
You were listening backstage. I was kind of telling Johnny about how we had kind of met. It was at that Haverhill show, right? The first time, I believe.
Yeah, I kind of, when you just mentioned it, I kind of forgot all about that show. Like it just kind of came out of nowhere.
Well, it was kind of forgettable if I remember right.
I've never done.
It was a fun show though. Like those, I love those library shows because they are very low risk. I actually think I met Johnny in the chat, the guy Roland that comes on, that's in our chat a lot.
Oh yeah,
I met him at that show. I want to meet him again because I remember talking to him, but I just don't remember what he looks like. It's like people. So
that's my big fear at New York is having people who I know on Twitter, but I only know their Twitter handle and not them. They're going to come up talk to me and be like, I have no idea who you are.
Those types of shows.
What's that?
Those types of shows really, you get a lot of people that are really not familiar with comics, and you just get some really odd questions and interest. And it's just very strange.
You get like, oh, they still make comics, right?
And then you get a guy that's like, oh, comic books. If I kept all those comic books, I'd be rich. All the ones I had as a kid. And he's like, well, see you later.
Superman.
I'm like, what?
I had the Death of Superman. Like everyone has that one. It's not like worth crap, but what was I say? Dragon Multimedia said it was smaller, different con. I was mentioning local to me. Oh, okay, I'm not sure which.
Gotcha.
Still don't know which one he's talking about. Adam Warlock said that's actually a cool pop because it doesn't look like a pop. I agree. I have Felix the Cat pop, but it doesn't look like a Funko. It's more like a regular Felix toy.
Cool.
Those are the ones I like, the ones that are a little weird and different. But so Tony, when we ever have creators on, like the one thing we always like to ask first of all is was there a movie, comic, or TV show that when you were younger that kind of like inspired you to want to be like a comic book artist or be part of this industry, this crazy industry?
I mean, I'd say similarly to a lot of people, first, second grade, I would get books off the spinner rack at the supermarket. Spider. I remember a lot of McFarlane Spider-Man.
Really, on the spinner racks in the 90s, huh? No kidding.
And then I mean, that's probably the end of it. But then I remember my first time going into my local comic shop was when X-Men #1 with the Jim Lee 4 covers were there.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was what really made me want to be creative, because I started making my own like fan X-Men comics, and also the Image stuff was coming out around the same time, and I was doing
it was an exciting time for comics at that time. Because I was just getting into comics, I believe in let me see, hardcore getting into it in high school. So this would have been like 87, I think, like around that, and in the 90s was, or the early 90s is when that Jim Lee X-Men came out, I believe, right? Was 90, 91, somewhere around there.
I was in middle school, and that was like the hottest thing. That's when I jumped aboard, comics generally.
And then kind of funny though, it was still underground a bit. Was this the same with you guys? Like, it's still, you kind of had to read them kind of secretly, like you didn't want people to know that you were into comics. Was that still with you guys at that time?
With me, I was in about 4th, 5th grade, I think, when X-Men #1 came out. So it wasn't like uncool, but I think that X-Men cartoon really helped to kind of validate it a little bit.
Yeah. My high school, it was still kind of like, I used to stroll around my high school like I didn't give a shit, which was fine. But like inside, I'm like, oh god,
yeah.
You want someone to be like, look, just read Dark Knight Returns because this is badass.
Yeah. And that's when that stuff was hitting too. That's when Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, all that crazy Watchmen, all that stuff was coming out when I was in high school, and it was just like, how did people not get into this? It's so awesome, it's like, and then like years later, you could tell people were secretly into it, but they didn't make the thing. But so, so you were saying that was like when you were in high school that was hitting, right?
I was in like 4th, 5th grade.
4th or 5th grade. Oh, wow. Okay.
So at that point, I started making my own fan X-Men comics, and I was making my creator-owned characters based off of like Image characters. And my parents worked at a printing company, and I would make all these pages like just on 8.5, 11, and they would take it to their work and like paginate it and like saddle stitch it for me. So I like had like these comics that like felt finished. Yeah. And I had like a whole collection of them that I made myself. And that was just kind of like the beginning of like being creative and doing panels and stuff, which, I still have a lot of them. And I look back and it's like, it's so crude, but it's just like I see the inception of wanting to create and make like a book that I can hold in my hand,
Yeah, and no, it's great that you kept it too, because I still have a bunch of my stuff. I'm missing a bunch too, but I did the same thing. Like when I was younger, like I've talked about this a bunch, is I was more a comic strip kid. I would take Garfield and Peanuts and do my own strips with them. That's what I really wanted to do before comics came into my life. And I tried my hand at that, but I ended up becoming more of a comic writer and into that realm. But I still dabble with comic strip stuff because I love that stuff. I still, to this day, I own every comic strip by Charles Schultz. I own every Peanut strip and all the Calvin and Hobbes, all the top-notch ones. And then in high school is when I started getting into comics. And that's when I was drawing my own comics too. I didn't learn a goddamn thing in school because I was too preoccupied with comics, So it was almost like to the point of obsession. I mean, I don't know if that was the same with you guys. Like I was just obsessed with comics at that time, and my grades definitely reflected it.
It's funny that Tony mentioned that he was doing fan comics at the time, because I feel like a lot of the individuals who are in the process of discovering their creative spirit will actually, like, that's what they gravitate to doing, is that, I want to be creative and I want to create something, and they kind of like do their fanfic, right? Because a lot of the stuff that they love is already there, and then once they kind of do that, they realize, I want to make my own, and that's it's we hear it with a lot of different creators, and I did it personally, and the same thing for you too that you mentioned, Tony. And it's great to hear. It's like a lot of us have this commonality that a lot of our creative spirit is born in the things we love.
Yeah, definitely. Did you know you wanted to be maybe not comics, but did you want to be like an artist? Like
absolutely. I was taking art classes like after school ones. My mom would always put me into them. And then when I went to high school, I actually went to vocation school and did illustration and graphic design. And met a lot of like-minded friends, like lifelong friends that I'm friends with now, that we actually share independent label with right now. So like we've been friends making comics. Yeah, we've been making comics since high school. And
that's awesome.
We actually, like, back then we made like our own universe. At that point, we're inspired by like Cliffhanger, Joe Mad, Battle Chasers.
That was good,
Danger Girl.
Too.
So we started like making our own universe and characters, and we got like we didn't really, we fleshed it all out, but we didn't get too far. But it was all that, those ideas were there, and then we all go to school.
It's all
and
stuff
we later
you can
come back.
repurpose though, or redo later on. Like I know certain ideas of mine have eked out in different ways, you know, like if I haven't been able to use it, I find a way to repurpose it or something, you know.
Absolutely.
They never die. They're in there always.
Yeah, they're always in there. When did you start? Like, when was your first, like, I guess, comic that you put out, like, to sell?
Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned repurposing, because I was always just trying to find something, and I kind of gravitated towards web comics, like early 2000s. I got a digital tablet, and I started doing this book, a strip called Return to Randor, about a guy trying to find his home. I did, you know, I maybe did like 30 strips or something, and then I kind of abandoned it. But I always had like something there, like I had a lot of content right now. So I kind of revisited it maybe 5 years later, tried adding more of a story, fleshing it out more. And then I did a lot of character designs and then abandoned it again. And then I come back again. I went and did like a summer course at the Joe Kubert School.
And, you did? Okay, I did. I did a year there myself.
Yeah. So yeah, I just did the summer course, but just because you know, married.
Was that I'm curious, was that, did you have to actually go to New Jersey?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. What year was that?
2011 or 12. I can't remember.
Okay. Jeez, but I'm dating myself, but I was there in like 96, I think.
Oh
my God. Yeah. One of the kids in my class was Damian Scott, who did Batgirl, and I'm sure you guys have seen his stuff. Yeah. There's some great people that came out of that school, you know, definitely. And we used to see Joe walking around all the time, and his sons are always on site working and everything. So it was kind of cool to look back. At the time, I couldn't appreciate it because I was like working like 4 jobs and doing the school during the day. But like looking back now, I was like, wouldn't have changed a thing. You know, it was just so much fun and such an exciting time. But it was also the first time comics were kind of going on the decline. You know, around the time I remember being there, and the big thing that was happening was Onslaught was like the big thing at the time. So gives you guys kind of an idea of what year it was. But so that's fascinating. So the
when I was there, it was like a good vacation away from my life and job and everything going on, just by myself, being doing that stuff. And I really, every single night, I went to like Starbucks and I wrote what this first issue was going to be for Return to Randor. I brought it back and like put it in a more realistic world, and just I spent like 7 nights just
redesigning the idea,
retooling it, redesigning it, and
outlining like where you wanted to go with it. I've read some of the Return to Randor. I think you gave me an issue at Haverhill, and I liked it. You gave me the whole thing now, so I'll have to sit down and go and read the full storyline. Let me make it big so you can show that to the
show that off.
So now people can get that at your website, correct? Look how thick that is.
That's awesome.
Like nice manga size too, you know?
So
it's very
I rewrote it, redid everything, and I said I'm just going to put one issue out finally. Like, this idea has been in my head for so long, and I over the next couple of months I wrote the issue when I got back, and I just said, you know what, I'm going to have this out, by the spring, by Boston Comic Con. I'm going to have this out. I think it was 2012.
What year was that? What year is it?
Maybe 2012, I think. Okay. Yeah. So then I, that's what I did. I just grinded away, did a 28-page issue number 1, and then from there I just kept that momentum going, and just did 4 issues within the next like 2 years.
That's
Did a
awesome.
bunch
Awesome.
of,
I mean, like,
did a bunch of mini comics and like short strips that I posted exclusively online. And yeah, so it just kind of built to this 300-page book it is right now, just all the
that's
main
fantastic.
story
I
and
mean,
the bonus
that's a
content.
lot too. Because if you
Yeah.
broke that down to singles, that's like what, at least 15 issues, at least, right?
Yeah, it has
I mean,
a
if
lot of
like
like backup stories, like short stories that kind of flesh out other characters and situations, and then has like I think maybe 15 one-page comics. That was kind of a fun challenge, just doing one page with a story, kind of similar to a
Oh,
comic
cool.
strip. So
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So
So cool.
I know you sent over a sample pack, and I saw.
yeah,
So I'm a big fan of the Tick, and I saw you had two like
yeah.
one-page shorts of the Tick. I thought that was great. It was cool just to see something like one-page, concise, real, like witty storytelling, or even it could have been 2 pages, but I loved it. I love that stuff. Now, is that official or is that a fan piece?
No, those
No, it was
those
in
were
the
on
free
like
comic book day, right?
Yeah, they were
Oh,
in
cool.
free comic book day ones. I think I've done 4 of them, and
Oh, very cool.
so
That's
one of
cool,
them's
yeah,
3
because-
pages, one of them's like 2 pages, and 2 of them are 1 page.
Curious
That's
about
awesome.
that. So did you because I know New England Comics is they got a handful of stores in this area. Did you just go to their store and say, "Hey, can I be part of the Tick thing?"
Well, I'm a regular at the one in Brockton. That's like my store I've been going to since I was like 10.
Yeah,
And they know I was doing because they were carrying my comics for a couple of years at that point. So they needed a pinup for a book. They had an extra space, and he asked me if I wanted to put a pinup in. So I said, yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah!
So I put it in, and then
it's a big deal.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, sure. And then the next year, I think they were like, oh, you want to put a pinup in again? I was like, well, can I put in like a strip or something? And he was like, oh yeah, do something. So I wrote it, and they loved it, and they put that in. And then it kind of just happened every year, So.
That's fantastic.
Awesome.
So
that's great, man.
You still doing strips for the Tick, like every year?
No, they haven't really been printing much with the pandemic, so.
Yeah, that's a thing. Pandemic is, and I imagine it's like I don't know how. I mean, I keep hearing stores aren't doing great during this, although the few in our area, every time I go in there, they seem to be busy. But I don't know.
I think it's like they were doing a lot of new issues for conventions and new issues for Free Comic Book Day, and both of those kind of just were gone, right? So
so they may have to build up again. Like maybe next year they'll be back.
It's very similar with like the sketch covers. You don't see sketch covers because there's no conventions to bring them to get people to draw them. So it's like
you got a point. I mean, I mean, I think, I said this to you, Johnny, too, when the pandemic was starting. I mean, I don't think we're starting to see some of the effects of COVID from last year happening now. I mean, I don't know what Diamond. So not to go on a tangent here, real quick, but I don't know what Diamond's going to do. I mean, they're losing publishers left and right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, IDW just pulled out like last week.
It's tough.
I mean, I don't know. They're gonna have to kiss the independent creators' asses, I think.
Or restructure to support independent creators, right? I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. Either you adapt to survive, or you close your doors.
Yeah, right. And I mean, if they lose image, they're probably going to be all done, I think, because
I'd say so.
I don't think they can survive with. They need at least one major publisher to keep them going, and I don't know if Dark Horse is enough. But
I was just gonna say, COVID screwed with creators and the comic industry, be it from the independent level all the way up to like the big companies. So much in different ways. In some ways, it thrived, and people found new ways to grow. In some ways, it kind of shuttered doors. Now we kind of asked other creators too, Tony. During COVID, did you find yourself thriving, or how did that kind of affect you?
So it started, and I just said I took a month off of just from work to take care of my kids because they weren't in school. So I said, I'm going to enjoy hanging out with my kids. This is great. And then, and then
I didn't even know you had
happens.
Kids.
Yeah, I got 2 kids.
Oh wow!
And they're young, so couldn't just leave them home to do school. So I had to watch them. But
that's invaluable time that you'll never get back. Yeah. So I mean, retrospectively, you're going to appreciate
that from other people too.
Absolutely.
Like they've they had, you know, all this time to spend with family now, where all the noise has just been gone, you know. So yeah. I mean, I think you guys will probably look back and think, besides the pandemic, you'll think, oh, this was a great time.
I was thinking that at the time. I said, this is amazing. I get to spend 24/7 with my kids, like at this amazing age. So, you know, enjoying it. And then the second month, it's like, okay, well, what's happening here? You know, I said, you know, let me start working on some of these pages for Skin Deep 3, because they were kind of, I've been sitting on them for a few months.
Comics.
So sitting on them for a few months, and this was a 48. I think I had 48 pages to draw, or was it 50? Maybe it might have been 52.
When I ran into pages. You at Mice, you had 1 and 2 done.
Yeah. And so this issue was big, right? I write that Ryan Miller, my friend in our Stockpile Comics group, he's the writer, and I said to him, I was like, let's try and keep it 38 pages like the other first 2 issues, which are overstuffed books as it is, but it just needed to be 52 pages. It had to be. So anyways, it's overwhelming.
You don't want to. You don't want to cut yourself off. You kind of want the story to breathe, you know, and reach a natural conclusion instead of rushing it.
It's just very overwhelming. So
it's a good story, though. I really enjoyed 1 and 2, and I want to talk about your marketing on that a little bit too. Like, for everybody out there, what's your pitch for Skin Deep? Like,
well, the
it's
pitch
definitely
is
not it's not the John Ritter 1989 film. Right?
I like that movie. I
love that movie too. But anyways, go ahead.
I mean, put bluntly, it's just a scientist who's pushing the boundaries of his technology, and it kind of drives him mad because he wants to see what he can achieve, and in the process, weird things start to happen to him, and we really, you know, homage films like The Fly and Re-Animator and things like that. Weird sci-fi horror movies
from it.
So body horror kind of thing, or
absolutely.
Yes, I love that kind of stuff.
Well, Johnny, and you'll love this because I pulled out the copies tonight before. So when I met him at Mice, I loved his marketing. Let me make myself big here.
Yeah, please.
So he had here's a copy of Skin Deep. I believe this is number 1. And Tony was selling these with which I thought this was the coolest thing, but it came with like a VHS insert. Yeah. It's like so you put the comic. It's like a VHS sleeve. So you put the comic in. So it's like having your let me see. Hang on, can't get this thing to work.
It's like a protective.
So you have like your VHS, sleeve to hold the book.
Oh, cool!
How cool is that? Like.
Yeah.
Isn't that a great idea? And then this was for number 2. And this was a different VHS cover. And,
I love that.
You could see just some of the body horror just right on the cover there too, you know.
That invokes like late night cable and the late 80s kind of vibe, you know?
Like Street Trash. You ever see that movie?
Oh yeah.
No,
a little bit of Street Trash, those covers, and but I love the marketing. Are you going to do a third VHS sleeve for the third one?
I think I did.
If you do comics, if you do conventions, I mean.
I think by the point that I do another convention, I'm probably going to have the trade-out. So I think we're dwindling on the issues actually. So we did a shorter print run, but
maybe an alternate cover where it looks like one of those old painted, VHS tapes. You know, that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, we're actually.
Go ahead.
We're working on the cover for the trade at the moment, so we're doing research on VHS covers and trying to find the perfect one to kind of homage or kind of work off of,
maybe like a Vestron video or Vestron or something, that'd be kind of fun. That's great. And before we go on, we got Ben Bartlett. Look at all that sexiness up there. I gotta agree. And then Don Chin joining us. What's up? Is this another online pirate convention? I want to be a pirate. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's a super secret society of comic book creators that wear bandanas and head wraps.
Yeah, so true, right? What did John said? Just eating dinner and looking over new Beard Zerker proofs. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And Don said spoon. Nice.
Spoon. Oh God, I love the tick.
Represent.
Yeah.
But
so to go back to the pandemic, I took that time though. The second month, I said, you know what? Who knows how long this is going to be? This is the perfect time while I'm home. So I just started grinding out those pages, and I really took advantage of the pandemic to get issue 3 done because it was overwhelming at the time. So
did you have like some people like I found I thrived with the pandemic as well, but some people didn't. Like, did you have any like moments where you were like, I can't do this, or or was it just because the noise was gone, you were able to focus more? Like,
yeah, and it's funny because I did most of the pages at my kitchen table, where normally I work in my studio at my desk, but I did most of the stuff at my kitchen table while I was sitting with my kids while they were on remote learning and everything. So
yeah,
it was a very different experience for sure. I just kept thinking, I want to have this done for when conventions come back. Like, I don't want to be going there and saying, oh, I'm still working on issue 3 2 years later,
Yeah, right. Are you do you have any conventions that you're eyeing for next year?
I am going to be at Wicked Comic-Con. I just
I'm definitely gonna sign up for that.
I mean, I'm an old school Boston Con supporter, so
that's gonna be a great show.
Love that old show. Yep, love those guys. That it's
just one day too.
One day,
they're doing everything right. If you ask me already, right out the gate, So definitely gonna be at that show as well. So all 3 of us will be there, which is awesome.
Cool. That sounds great. Yeah, I just did Fan Expo, which reluctantly I don't like that show. Never liked that show. But I said, I just want to dip my toe in to do something.
Yeah, I want to get back out there again. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
was it a good experience? I heard mixed on that show. People did.
I mean, it was a lot of people there. It wasn't as big as it used to be, obviously. But in terms of my type of crowd for my type of books, just aren't those types of people. I sold a lot of original artwork and
that's good
commissions. Which I don't really like. I'm getting to a point where I just don't want to do that stuff. Like I do it to supplement the cost of being there, but
you have to, yeah.
I'm starting to just think about my booth setup and simplifying and just having my books and say, you know what, this is the reason I'm here.
It's like, no, I get that because I've gone through my different stages where I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Why can't I sell books? And it's hard because I don't think they have specific conventions that with readers, they're all kind of mixed in. So it's hard to, but it's also a part of standing out, I think, a little bit. And
of course,
I don't know.
But I mean, you got to pick the right shows, because my crowd
is the problem. Yeah.
Mice. I always do great at mice. And those are the types of people that want to read
tough to get in.
That's on the shelves.
Yeah. I wish I could get in that show every year. I wish they would go, a little bigger, maybe get it like an actual convention center and just do it there,
Well, the good thing is, that's free. It's free admission because they can do it on the cheap, and then you get, so many more people. SPX,
spending
I've done
money,
I've done SPX 2 times. That show's amazing.
Yeah, I've heard good things about SPX. One, right? Yeah, I was unfortunately contracted to be in Vermont that weekend, so I regrettably had to decline my. I got in. But I had to decline, unfortunately.
Wow,
but
winning the lottery.
I know, right? I had to do it, unfortunately. But I'm hoping one day in the future I can get back there.
Yeah, that's definitely the kind of shows, and that's sort of like why with my show Plastic City I went with a real cheap admission because I was thinking the same thing. Like if people didn't have to pay like a crazy entrance fee. And didn't have celebrities to spend their money on, that money would go to the creators or, people buying comics,
you're passing the value back on.
Yes.
Yep. You're drawing the people that aren't there for autographs too, by not having celebrities.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're trying to bring in comic people that, I mean, you'll always have, whenever you take a crowd of comic fans, you're always going to have to cut it in half because there's always that one half that won't read anything but Marvel and DC. This is what I kind of discovered at like working at a comic store. There's people that just will not look at a black and white book. They will not look at anything that isn't like Batman, it's just a reality. But you do have that other half that's willing to try almost anything independent, and probably buys very little of books from the big two, so it's trying to get those people to look at stuff,
Yeah, I have no ill will towards, people that don't want my stuff or not interested. That's fine. It's just like, I personally need to find those shows that have those readers that are open to new things. Yeah.
I always say to creators too, don't take it personally. Cause like I used to take that personally. Like it was like a slight, like they would not want to read my book, and we used to try so hard to like just stand out and like, but I'm not like a pushy, like car salesman type either, like, cause we know some people like that, but like so it's always trying to find that balance of how you sell your books and versus,
even with certain shows too, it's kind of a little bit of trial and error. Like you don't know until you go or until somebody's exhibited that you can trust. That's like, oh yeah, this is really a good show, or no, this isn't a good show. And that's with Keith too. Like when I talk to him, I know genuinely because I know how Keith is behind the table. Some people say, oh, I had a bad show, but they were really just kind of like buried in their clipboard phone the whole time, or their phone or whatever, not communicating.
Or not at their table, like people like me that are like
I'm not at the table.
Well, sometimes you're working because you have to do the announcement.
That's true.
But you are there most of the time, I think. I don't know.
If I'm there at a show exhibiting I'm only exhibiting. Rarely would I not be at my table. If I'm splitting the table with somebody, I'll dip out just so I can get some networking in and check out other artists. But if I'm there by myself at a show, I ain't leaving. Until I try to make that cash.
You got it, man.
Yeah, you got it.
Making that, well, at least making your table back, and then
for sure. So Tony,
go ahead.
Sorry, go on. I was gonna say, Tony, do you travel when you do shows, or do you kind of keep it local?
We travel, me and my friends in Stockpile Comics, we go to Heroes Con every year. We've gone in the past four shows, I think. And have
you guys ever done Philly by any chance? Did we cross paths in Philly?
Never did.
Okay, all right.
But Heroes Con.
How was Heroes Con for you?
Amazing. It's my favorite show to go to and to table at.
Yeah,
I heard Heroes Con's a great show.
Absolutely the best, I think. It's just so many amazing creators between indie and pros, all comics, no celebrities.
Lots
of comic art fans. Like people want original art, they want commissions from anybody. It's just amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a show that like is put on. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry, Tony.
Oh, it's a show put on by the Heroes comic shop, and they do like an auction. And they raise money that way, and the auctions are so much fun to go to. Amazing.
I went one year, like maybe 5 years ago, and I'd like to try it again now that I have the Mighty Mascots stuff.
Yeah.
But before that, I didn't have any of that. I was just kind of doing my older stuff, and I did okay, but I was in an area, probably not a great area, but I wasn't really with all the other creators, so like that kind of hurt me a little bit. And then like I was like, I need to take some time from this show because like we had to pay for the flights and all that stuff, and it ended up costing more than it was worth doing. But I would like to try it again because like you said, I love the vibe of that show. There were you said, there's just nothing but comic books, art, and creators, which is awesome. So, and that's so it was a good experience just for that,
I'm signed up for the next show they do. So
when do they usually have it?
Summertime,
June usually.
right?
It's usually
June.
It's not going to be. It's going to be the weekend after. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I used to always get crap for that because I would be gone Fridays the weekend, but.
Yeah, but they had a good crowd though. I mean, like the year I went, it was pretty packed. I was like impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's great. Yeah, so maybe down the road I want to try it again. Is that as far as you go? Have you been to San Diego?
Haven't been to San Diego. I plan to someday. So.
Yeah, I put in for the special edition one, and I got to talk to you after the show about that one, Johnny, because I don't know if I'm accepted or not.
I think we're in.
Okay,
So
I got that
I
thing
wouldn't
for
have
the
to worry
hotels,
about that.
but you got the link for the hotels, but I haven't been accepted, so I don't know if I should book one or I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that after.
That venue is huge, and they can space things out. And I don't imagine Thanksgiving weekend there's going to be a lot of creators that want to do that. I mean, there's some people like us. Well, we don't mind that kind of thing. We'll just do it.
Yeah.
I look at it. I think there'll be attendees. Attendees will be there.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a really great show, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of creators. So I think that's going to give individuals like you and I a better opportunity to vend there.
Yeah, definitely, and and I don't have to do the fighting on where we're going for Thanksgiving. I'll be like, no, I'm going to San Diego.
I'm going to California.
You have dinner wherever you want. Leave me out of it.
Exactly.
So I don't know if maybe we'll go a few days before Thanksgiving. I have no idea, but if it does happen, I'm in. I'm going.
If I'm going, I'm putting in time over there. I'm going to do a vacation while I'm at it.
Yeah, something like that. I might take a few days myself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've been trying to get into San Diego probably for the last 7 years. Every year I apply, but it's just
it's a show where you expect to take a loss, really, but it's just you
gotta
nice
have
to go.
no matter what.
Yeah,
with the flights and the hotels, unless you sell
to get that experience
stuff. What's up?
Yeah,
you have to get that experience of San Diego.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Johnny goes. You've gone every year, right?
I was very lucky to get looped into a collective of creators very early on that have just had legacy at booth space under booth number 2103 on the floor. So I'm very lucky to be a part of Dial R Studios Collective, and they just go back every year. So
that's great.
Just one of those things.
Fantastic. I'm hoping to just get my foot in there. That way I can kind of try to become a legacy, person and just try to go every year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's seems to be the place to be. I mean, New York and that place, You've done New York.
C2E2 is a big show too. That's really because you have to think the Midwest doesn't have a lot of Comic-Cons. There's a few, but C2E2, Reed Pop's big Midwest show. That's always one where a lot of people venture out to it.
Yeah, there's a lot to think of. I always heard Baltimore is really worth going to check out too.
I've done that one.
That was a comic. Did you do
that
one?
Baltimore. I like the con itself. I personally didn't do good 1 year we went, but it's a great show to go to.
How many years did you try it? What's your experience out of all the? Did you table at a bunch or just one?
Just one. I tabled there once.
Oh, okay. And you didn't
maybe
you did okay.
So the big thing with that show is the Ringo Awards, right? Isn't that kind of what brings a lot of people out to that one? Yep.
Kirk George says San Diego Con is on his bucket list. Yeah. I mean, I think as a fan, you should definitely go. I went 1 year.
Oh, absolutely.
And I tabled there once. I think I told you about this, Johnny. It was 2008. But this was before I was doing comics. It was more with my Hero Envy stuff when we were doing video things. And we were just me and John out there with our 3 DVDs trying to sell them to people. And, it wasn't a good place to sell that stuff. But the experience there was amazing, Just,
for sure.
Cool.
Just celebrities just walking around like it's nothing. And, I bumped into Alex Winter and I was just like,
oh, cool.
Yeah. It was awesome. And the first thing I talked to him about was Freaked, of course.
Of course, you got it. Yeah. Yep.
So great. But anyways, so Tony, now that you finished Skin Deep, what do you got planned? You got anything coming up after that, or is it
like I said, we're
clean slate and
we're working on the trade right now to get that done for next year. But I kind of have always had these mini comics, usually horror mini comics or just sci-fi horror stuff, and I'd have them at my table, and they're just 12 to 20 page little minis, and I just have so many, and I'm in the middle of working on another one, and I said, I'm just gonna put all these together into one graphic novel, Oh yeah, that's my store.
This is your story. I wanted to bring it up. So,
I was going to ask, do you have like a digital outlet or anything like that?
I've been kind of just posting everything to Instagram lately at T Sedani, and then I have a link
Okay.
to my store off of that.
I
I
think
do
I
have a
have that in
blog,
the
but I haven't.
description of the video too. I put your Instagram.
Oh, okay, great. I haven't updated my blog in a long time. I just kind of been doing Instagram. It seems to get more reception.
Yeah,
But,
Instagram seems to be the thing for artists now, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to show that you do commissions too, if people want to do
cool.
It. I know you're trying to get away from it, but maybe we'll send you some your way. I don't know. But and then you could get the return to range. This is a great bargain for 300. You said 300 plus pages, right?
Yeah, 300 pages. Yeah.
$15. That's a really good deal. And you got enamel pins. And here's all 3 issues of Skin Deep, which is great. Yeah. And is this some of your earlier stuff?
Those are some of the mini comics I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
But I decided to put them all together. I'm literally gonna call it Weird Shit. So
nice. I like that. I love that.
I like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a Vault of Horror or weird science. Like,
are you gonna do
homage.
You gonna do anything new for it? Like put in are you gonna put like a horror host to like introduce the stories?
I did contemplate that, so that's I'm thinking about that, possibly doing that.
That Doctor Strange is awesome. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. That Keith, click on that Doctor Strange, will you?
Yeah, bring it up.
Yeah, look at that. That thing's badass. I love that. Good. Sorry, Tony, didn't mean to interrupt. I just had to shed some light on that.
So I'm going to be putting those together in like a graphic novel just to kind of
Shit, we lost him. That Doctor Strange was so awesome, it blew him right out of the cast.
It put him
he'll come back in. Yeah, he'll come back in.
Dark Realm or whatever, the Dark Realm or whatever. Like
oh, here it is, we're back. That Doctor Strange was so good, it just zapped you into the dark dimension.
Marmo's dimension.
Yeah.
So what were you saying, Tony?
So I'm repurposing all those short stories and gonna make an homage to like Tales from the Crypt or something, like a cover like that, and
do it like as a trade paperback.
Yeah. So I'm working on that. I'm working on a couple stories for that. I'm also about to start artwork on a 90s inspired like image style comic called Overforce.
Okay.
Cool. What's the basic pitch on that?
It's just a big
Is it Rob
badass dude
gone crazy, like that kind of stuff?
It's a big badass dude looking to blow things up. Literally, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be starting with a lot of crazy colors, and I'm looking to print it on newsprint. Do some like alternate like.
Oh, okay.
Do some like alternate hollow covers and things like that. But that's
cool.
That's next year sometime. But and then
Kirk
currently
George
working on
Blood and Oil reminds him of heavy metal of the heavy metal animation.
Yeah,
that's great stuff.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
I'm working on I don't know if you guys have heard of, speaking of indie comics, Tales to Enlighten. Either of you guys back that or hear about it at all?
No.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Okay,
just came out.
Let me make you huge here.
This is Matt King and James Edward Clark's new book. It just it was kickstarted, 300 pages.
Jeez,
everyone's kind of talking about it on the internet right now. So I'm actually working on 2 stories for volume 2, 2 short stories. So which is going to be getting kickstarted next year. So if anybody wants to try out a crazy, just like a weird, trippy, nuts book.
Tales to Enlighten. Is it like horror stuff, or is it like?
It's got everything, to be honest with you. If you like comics, anything in comics,
just weird,
you'll find something like it's
like
rated.
Tales
it's
from
very
the
mature
Weird or something like that. Weird Tales or something like that.
The artwork's amazing though.
Oh wow! Yeah, hang on.
Yeah, let's go big with that. Yeah.
Very graphic, but
yeah, that looks great. And is that going to be like they kickstarted that? And is it going to be?
Yep, they kickstarted this back in April, and it's shipping now, and you can like buy it now, so you can check out.
I may do that. It looks interesting.
Google Tales to Enlighten, and but anyways, I'm working on 2 short stories for volume 2, so I'm doing that right now, and working on that other book and that other book. So lots of books.
Nice. Tailstone Lighten cover is freaking sweet.
Hell yeah, it is.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to ask you too. I had not realized that you did stuff for the Alterna too with that Fubar storyline.
I actually forgot when you said that. I go, oh yeah, I forgot I did that.
Yeah, because like I didn't know that until I started working with Alterna that Fubar was under them.
Yeah.
Like,
So I think that's where my connection, where I thought I may have ran into you in Philly, because I remember some folks at a table that had a Fubar book at Philly. So I don't know if that could have been affiliated or.
Yeah, there's so many
Jeff
people involved with
McComsey.
Fubar that people like. Yeah, Jeff McComsey probably. I mean, he's doing so many shows and he was promoting that. But
okay, that's probably what it was.
So many people have that book at their booth. Yeah, with the guns.
Yeah,
and
it looks like an army barracks when you go to the booth and stuff.
That is a cool booth. Yeah.
But I had no idea that was Alterna until I started, get a contract with Alterna. And I guess the story was that Jeff wanted a separate imprint, and that's where the Fubar thing came from.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, okay. But Pete was actually the one publishing it, which is very cool. So you were a part of one of those. How did that happen? Did you get to know Jeff?
That was through the Tick, through Jeff McColland. He's
Yep.
He was an editor on Fubar, and
Yep.
I knew him through doing the Tick stuff, so he offered me a spot to do art on one of the stories. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, very cool. Because I've read a handful of those Fubar books, and they're great. And I know I read your story because it was in the All Stars one, and I know I had that one. So
I think that was the last one, actually.
Yeah, I think it was the last one, and it's too bad they're not doing those anymore. I don't know what happened there. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a great way for indie people. It was a great way for indie guys just to kind of have an outlet and shine a little bit. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing those If anthologies for a while, and I just don't think now with the newsprint stuff, I don't think he does. I mean, he does that. It came out on a Wednesday, which is sort of an anthology book, but I think it's more focused on horror and fantasy stuff. I think.
I think that's the big thing now, is that people are just now moving more toward just anthology books.
Yeah. Except it's like he used to do a big book every year, like kind of like the Fubar stuff. But
right, that it was themed, right? One was like crime, one was like horror. Yeah. Dylan was in one of those books. Dylan Andrews.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah. We had Dylan on from Batlantic Studios before.
Yeah.
Dylan's great.
I didn't know he did one of those for. Oh, that's cool. It's very cool. Awesome. Yeah, so that's really cool. So you got some stuff going on, Tony. That's good to hear. I'm glad I'll probably see you in Boston.
Absolutely, we will.
Possibly at Plastic City if that works, if the date works out for you. Because
it all goes back to being a kid again. Like I fell in love with having this like thing I made, holding it in my hands. Like I'm not a big fan of digital comics, and I wish I could have sent you guys the actual books. But when I see you guys at the show, I'll give them to you. But
for sure, we'll swap books, my man.
In my hands. Yeah, I love holding something in my hands, and just like I enjoy what I do, and I just strive to like make something that I can just show people, and that's the most fun part about it. Doing the shows, it's like it's just it's nice to find readers and stuff, but the main focus is just making stuff and fulfilling that need.
And I find when you do a show though, and I don't know if this is the same with you guys. I know it's definitely with my wife, but after the show is over, she's like super jazzed to create stuff. And like, is that the same with you guys?
It depends on the show.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm getting people like complimenting or asking questions or buying. It's like, you feel good about that, and you're like, if you recharge your batteries, But,
either that or you're ready to put a gun in your mouth by the time.
I think a lot of that comes with the people you speak to and connect with at a show, right?
Yeah.
So it's funny. I connected with Ryan Santos at Joe Souza's Troy City Comic Con, and then from that, I got my stretch goals for the Surrounded by Death campaign. You know what I mean? I think that was kind of born from that.
Mm-hmm. You have the originals for that too, right?
He has the originals. Okay. But we were trying to sell them as a premium tier at the campaign. I just kind of added it a little too late, I think. And then we were selling it at the show. But again, we missed a day and a half worth of display time. So, they're there. Yeah, they're there. I'm sure they'll sell. It's a group thing.
Priced, if I remember right, too, right?
500 for 3, the whole set, I believe.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I think.
It's really
it's pretty good.
I'd say, if you get push comes to shove, you could drop it a few bucks, but I wouldn't.
Right. That's irrelevant. But primarily, just to kind of answer the question, is like, yes, I feel like just kind of being in the vibe of other creators helps motivate. I don't know if you agree with that, Tony, but absolutely. Like we really do kind of help enlighten and lift each other up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. But then there's the other spectrum that we were just talking about, like a White Mountain Comic-Con, Johnny, where it's like. Where everybody just wants to die, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We did this show, Tony.
Nothing brings people together like doing prison time.
Yeah.
And that's what that show was like, doing prison time. It was basically a bunch of creators trapped in a room waiting for people to come through a door that never showed up.
Literally, I'm not even shitting you. 5 people maybe came to that show, and we sat. All the creators were in this huge room together. We were playing some game, right? We were playing
we did sketch offs just for us, and
Pictionary.
Pictionary, just some bad, yeah. I was peeling potatoes, swinging sweet low.
Yeah, it was 2 days, and this was the Saturday, and it was like 5 people there. At around 4:00, I said, "Screw it! I am not coming tomorrow." I packed everything up and left.
I did the same thing at a show that I'm sure you're familiar with.
Which
where, one? That was held in an old J.C. Penney. I didn't come
Oh God.
Johnny's old boss. Johnny.
Yeah, that's for sure. Never again, not anymore.
Johnny used to do announcing work for him, but
I remember. Yeah.
Oh, you heard the whole story? Yeah, it's not. It's like he's so temperamental.
Hey, don't do Mega Fest, otherwise you're not allowed at that show anymore.
Yeah. Yeah,
Come on.
I'm not going to do conventions where there's an ultimatum on which one to do. It's like
right. Unless it's a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. Those are the only ultimatums I'll bend for.
Yeah,
I know.
Exactly. Yeah. Kirk said he really enjoyed Fubar. The art is fantastic. Yeah. No, definitely. There's some talented people in those books. From the few I've read, they're really good. It's good. They put some good stuff out. But yeah, we could bag on shows all day, but
for sure.
But but what I was going to say is like that. There's also a life to a show. If it's like, with anything, it's like if there's either an energy there or there isn't, you can always feel it. You'll walk in and I feel good about this show, and then other times you're like, I don't know. Like you come in, you see a spot is in like a shit place, and you're like, this is gonna suck, So it's been,
But it brings the creators together. We commiserate, and then we form up and rebel. And
well, it's always like that. Other people will do great at shows, and other people just get the short end of the stick. Sometimes it's just the way.
You usually know the energy on Sunday when the show closes, and everyone is either cheering or it's just quiet. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. And the other thing too is with later years, I've been enjoying more of the one-day show.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Those just, because there's no other day for people to wait to spend money.
Exactly.
They have to do it that day.
Yep. That one-day show too gives you Sunday off, man.
Right. But,
I love that.
It's not like that. We're all money hungry here. That we got to make our money, but we do spend a lot of money producing the product and the tables and the travel and everything. So it's like, it's nice to walk away with all those expenses covered and then maybe a few bucks in your pocket,
After you've done shows sorry.
Yeah.
I was just saying,
It's in your suitcase a little lighter to travel home.
Yeah, definitely. You want to at least cover your table and cover the dinner afterwards, you know, at least.
I was just going to say, like, after you've been doing shows for a while, you kind of gauge, like, what's more valuable, my time or this show, you know? Your time actually starts to become a lot more valuable in hindsight in some shows, you know?
Me, that's definitely, whenever a 3-day show comes up now, I'm like, do I want to give up 3 days for this? You know, like, it's got to be really good. It's almost going to be on the level of, like, San Diego or New York for me to consider it, because... or Terrificon. Terrificon's a good
Terrificon's
show
great. Yeah, have you been to Terrificon, Tony?
I haven't, no.
We highly recommend it.
It's
that the one at the casino?
Yeah, it's fun. It's
it's a fun show,
and it is a comic show. It reminds me of the Boston shows at their height, like in the 2012, where it's like he doesn't overdo it with celebrities, but he also packs it with ton of comic guests, you know. Good ones, you know, like this last one, he had Donnie Cates and like Sean Gordon Murphy showed up for a day, and it was like a good comic book people there, so it brought out the fans, which was nice. It was probably my second best show there ever this past year.
That's great.
Yeah, so I recommend checking that one out. You know,
I will.
The best is you're at a casino too. If you get disgusted, you can go blow your money at the blackjack table. You know.
I was wondering how a show at a casino would do. I kind of assumed it wouldn't be good.
No, it's good. Because it's in its own area. It's in its own like convention center area, and people that come there aren't necessarily there for anything else but the convention, which is nice.
Okay.
But you have all that stuff if you want to like. You know, leave the show and like go gamble, you know.
Oh, nice.
So you could do that, and they have lots of great restaurants. The only thing that sucks is the hotels usually are really expensive during that weekend. So I don't know, it may be worth driving back and forth.
Just got to book in advance.
Yeah, or that, you know. Kirk George says, I love the small, true comic shows because it gives me a good chance to talk with the creators. I love to hear about why, how, what brought them to creating the story. Yeah, no, I love that stuff too. Like even just talking to you guys and other people.
That's this show. You know? This show, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So we're over an hour now. We're actually an hour and 15 minutes now, which is awesome. So it doesn't feel like it's been that long. But
we have so many tangents, you know. We fly off the handle here.
I love that. I love that about our show.
Yeah,
it doesn't. You never know what you're gonna get, you know, which is great.
Yep.
So yeah, Tony. Anything else as we start to wrap up here? Anything else you want people to know about? Where to find you? Like where are you found mostly is on Instagram?
Yeah, I'd say, like I said, I gravitated towards Instagram, so it's at T Sedani. I post all my art and news and stuff like that there, and it has a link to my store. Stockpilecomics.com is our imprint.
Right?
Yeah, it's our imprint. Our books are like, I hold them against any indie books. It's like we have like a wide range of stuff to offer between me and all my friends. So
yeah, who's the other friends in the Stockpile?
So you'd remember Joel Lolar. He was next to me. At Mice.
Yep.
So he does a book called Forever Winter. Ryan Miller is one that writes Skin Deep with me. He has another book called Mangull, which should appeal to everybody.
Okay.
Because it's insane. And then Jesse Munoz does Broken Legacy. Joe Daxberger's in there, and he's got some mini comics. Digger is one of his. So we're all doing something.
Awesome. Cool. I'll take a look at some of the titles here.
Is Mangull. Yeah.
Mangull. I love it. Mangull.
I love it.
So I almost gotta read this because I need to know.
It's almost what I imagined.
So it's like the Birds meets like body horror. Is that?
Yeah.
Nice.
I love it.
I love the arms are jacked too.
Like big muscly arms.
Yeah, it's the best. And, let me see. Got Tony Broken Legacy. Oh wow, this stuff looks great.
Yep.
Forever Winter. Oh, so this is Joe's book.
Joel. Yeah.
Joel's book. Yeah. Did he have this book at Mice? I don't remember if I looked at it.
I think he had 5 issues there. 4 or 5.
Wow.
I can't remember.
Jeez, there was so much going on.
He's actually kickstarting a trade next month for that book.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
So I'll be posting about that on Instagram when it launches.
This Mangold's fascinating.
Yeah, yeah.
I love this.
This is great.
It's just so absurd. It's great. I love it. It's fantastic. And then Return to Randor. Oh, yeah, definitely. That's your book. Skin Deep. It's great. Yeah, I like it. Stockpile Comics. So check that out.
You can actually go digital, and a lot of that stuff is available for, name your price if you want to check it out.
Oh, really? You're doing like the name your price?
Yeah, if you go down the bottom, I think, of that site to the digital store, you can name your price on a lot of the stuff.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Cool.
That's awesome. And then Kirk says, great to virtual meet you, Tony. You got some great stuff. Have a good night. Great night, guys.
Thanks for watching, Kirk. We always appreciate having you.
Yeah, so check out Stockpile Comics. Check out Tony on Instagram. All the links for Tony are below in the description of the video. So check that out. Johnny, what do you got going on this week that you want to shout out?
So maybe we'll be in Seekonk on Sunday.
Yes, right? I'm pretty sure.
And
I mean, I guess we could say on our Twitter if we can't confirm tomorrow.
Yeah. Just
the New England Toy and Comic Show.
So either way, just check out the show, whether we're there or not. If you're in that area. So the first time I did it, the first time I did that show was great. Although that was also pre-COVID, so I really don't know what to expect this weekend.
Yeah, I don't either. I think I did submission, but it's $2, $2 or $3 admission to get in. So it's an old school show.
Yeah.
I don't know what Johnny, is it just me and you are the only creators there?
Possibly. There could be a few others.
Okay, hopefully.
That's like flea market admission prices. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of like what it kind of is.
It's a collector's show for sure. It's more collectors than
it's not
indie
my
comics.
same experience as last weekend, but hopefully we'll see. But I haven't done it, so. But I think me and him did a table swap, so either way, I'm covered. Like if I don't make money, I'm good.
Right.
So
we're just chilling, Keith.
What's that? We're just chilling.
We're just chilling.
So me and Johnny 50-50 might be at the new
50-50. We don't know yet.
This Sunday.
So aside from that, I just encourage everybody to check out Tony's work. It's really awesome. It was great having the show. Tony, thank you for taking the time to come on with us. We greatly appreciate having you. And definitely reach out to us for future shows.
With the VHS covers. These are awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely check it
Thanks,
out.
Guys.
I definitely love this one too. So yeah, definitely check those out.
I definitely had a few VHS that looked like that.
Me too. Great stuff. With me, tonight Altern is launching their which I'm gonna probably head over there after. They're having a launch party for their Indiegogo that's happening tonight. It's they're going to start doing pre-orders. I think I've talked about this last week. You're going to do pre-orders on their books going forward. No more subscription bundles. So basically, it's like pre-ordering the next 2 months of Alterna books.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's what Pete's going to do going forward. Every season there's going to be an Indiegogo for the new books. And the cool thing about the campaign is every campaign's going to have an exclusive trading card. So,
cool.
And he's going to keep the numbering. So if you back this first campaign, you get the first one, and then the next one will be number 2. And then he's doing all these things.
Yeah.
Like every person will get a card with all the like the strength chart or the intelligence chart, and it's just a card that shows the chart. So you could like take all the characters you get and just compare them and like who would fight who. And
that's cool. Like the old school Marvel cards.
Yeah, exactly. And the first card I believe in the set is going to be Red Koi, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with that book by Tyler Wetland. It's a samurai chick with she has like a huge like dragon tattoo on her back, and it's actually a really good book if you like samurai stuff. But that would be the first card in the set. And then the reason I mention is if you missed Mighty Mascots 4, 5, and 6. Number 4 will be in this
in
new
the set
campaign. So
cool.
if anybody that's following that missed out when I was running my campaign can get it through there, along with every other book, So and I think you can add them on as add-ons. So if you don't want all 10 books, you can just pick and choose the ones you want, basically, and pre-order it, basically. So instead of like a subscription bundle. So check that out. I'll be over there in probably a half hour shooting the shit with all those guys. So if you're watching this and you want more of my dumbass go over, it's all I'll be over there later. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Any last words for the fans? Anything you guys want to say before we end this episode of Indie Comics Relay? Tony, you want the last word?
Thanks for having. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, no, thanks for joining us. And it was good to catch up with you, man. And we'll see you definitely at Wicked next year, which would be great.
Yeah, for sure.
It's gonna be fun. Absolutely.
All right, cool. All right, without further ado, that's it, everybody. We're gonna close out this episode, and like I said, come see me and Johnny this weekend, or check our Twitters just to make sure we're there. And otherwise, we'll see you next Wednesday. All right, guys, have a good night and have a great week.